Hello there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Certainly can.
Fabulous. Welcome everyone to another PlugBox Podcast. How are you today, Pete?
Oh, splendid. Another week, another PlugBox Podcast.
Another installment. I forget what number we're up to now, Pete. This is normally your role, isn't it, to remind me?
17.
Is it really?
It's number 17, yes.
17. So we're going to be talking about all things renewable and EV. Most of the subjects today, I think, are EV related, aren't they, Pete?
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
I think first up, we're going to talk a little bit about UK speed limits. 60 mile an hour on certain sections of motorway. We'll enjoy that in a minute. I'm sure you'll end up having a small rant. We're going to talk a little bit about Mercedes as well this week. Some news from them about going all electric by 2030 with a fairly sizable caveat, I hasten to add. We'll talk about the EQXX, so a model that's been teased with a significant range being peddled. And then we'll probably wrap up with the Tesla Supercharger network potentially being opened up to other manufacturers.
Sounds good.
So, 60 miles an hour on the motorway, Pete. How does that make you feel?
Oh, well, it's funny because I live up north for a good majority of my life, and near Sheffield or Rotherham, every now and again there's some silly sign up that says 60 for air quality, and I haven't really thought about it. And then a few times I've been travelling or transiting through Birmingham, so on the infamous M6, which is kind of the almost west coast highway or motorway in the UK. And parts of that I've said the same sort of thing. And then I think sometime this week there's been some article published from, I guess, the Department of Transport here in the UK that this kind of thing is going to be more of a permanent fixture on more motorways. So more motorways are going to have a 60 limit placed on them, primarily to reduce NOx.
That's correct.
But it made me think, like, why do EV drivers need to slow down? We're not making any pollution at all.
We need an EV lane. We can go unlimited speed.
Well, that'd be nice, but I'm not sure about the range.
That's true. Yeah, so this is an interesting story. Highways England, which I guess are the overlying governing body of the UK road network, have partnered with the Department for Transport, the DFT, and the government's Joint Air Quality Unit, or the JAQU, to monitor and, very catchy, to monitor and, if necessary, modify 101 sections of the national road network where levels of NO2 or NOx exceed the legal limits. But as you say, this surely affects certainly gasoline, petrol, diesel burners more than EVs. So I guess they can't really distinguish between the two unless you've got a nice green number plate.
Well, yeah, and not only that, the thing for me as well is, will it reduce NOx? Yes, but the primary emitters of NOx on, well, any road is either buses, coaches, or, heavy goods
Big
vehicles.
rigs.
And these already travel at less than 60 miles an hour. So I'm not really sure what it's going to do, if I'm honest with you.
Pass. Slightly strange logic, I think. I think they do better investing the money that they're going to have to pour into this, into subsidising people's transition to EVs.
Yeah, very true.
So the affected sections of the road include parts of the M1 near Rotherham in Yorkshire, so up to north, as you mentioned before, M5 in the West Midlands, and a stretch of the M6 around Birmingham. So slightly strange.
Not good fun.
They're also talking about in places having a 9.3 metre tall vertical air quality barrier. So maybe this is a Donald Trump style wall along the side of the road or something like this to try and keep the bad gases out of built up areas. Not sure how that's going to work. Anyway.
I mean, just plant trees. I mean, one of the nice things from the UK is along the A1, which obviously is an A road rather than a motorway. Most of it's very green, and sometimes the central reservation is a bit wide and it's got some greenery or shrubs or some trees. Whereas a lot of the motorways in the UK are really Americanized now, where it's just, it's just a massive strip of tarmac and everything's been cleared either side. And yeah, it's not very pleasant, really. So yeah, just plant trees and they'll filter a lot of the crap. We know this, like, it's not new.
There's a really interesting paragraph I'm reading in one of the articles, and it says Highways England has determined that it couldn't feasibly deploy emission-reducing measures that would reduce NOx in a time frame quicker than already forecasted. Now, forgive my naivety, but have we not been spending millions and millions on smart motorways recently, where they can just hit a switch that changes the number above the road from 70 to 60? Could they not just do it immediately? Or am I missing the point here? Am I oversimplifying this?
To be honest, Pete, I don't know what the point is.
True enough. What I can't see on here is when it's likely to start. But it, of course, is referencing in this article that the transition to electric vehicles is coming within the UK anyway. So perhaps this won't remain in place forever anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised, if there was some legal challenge to this, actually. Because, the smart motorways are all about congestion, or if there's some crash, or, where they've got rid of the hard shoulder and replaced it with a running lane if they need to shut that for whatever reason. But to now start using it for this purpose, it kind of feels like there'd be a slippery slope argument where, we're going to make it 60 miles an hour because it's a Thursday. As soon as you set one precedent, then it's easy to envisage others. So I wouldn't be surprised from some motoring body or industry body or drivers group or something that someone might get a little bit peeved with this and make some legal challenge. But anywho. Oh, actually, speaking of a legal challenge, I know this is not on your list.
Whoa, hang on, we can't deviate from my list.
I'm going to go off piste.
Guard. Go on then, please do.
I am. Can you remember in a podcast past, we talked about Shell doing naughty things and being reprimanded?
Yes.
Are you with me now?
Yes, I believe they have. Go on. I don't want to steal your thunder.
I thought you were going to ruin it then. Yeah, so we talked about in podcast past where some Dutch court, I think in The Hague, had told Shell that they need to do more quickly on reducing CO2.
Yes.
And it was some landmark legal decision. Yeah, absolutely. Quite right so. And we've learned this week that Shell are now going to appeal that court ruling. So I haven't listened to the particular podcast. I probably should have done, but I'm pretty sure we foresaw this
weeks ago.
And the press statement on it is utterly feeble, which was just lip service saying, absolutely, we need to reduce CO2, but it needs to be more wide-ranging and not just penalising one company. And it's just like, but you're one company that's doing massive amounts of damage.
Yeah, if you did a Pareto of all of the companies and their emissions of CO2, they would be amongst the top, if not the top. So you've got to start somewhere. Okay, let's not penalise one company. Let's penalise them all. Bring it on.
So, but anyway, I think we foresaw this, and as I say, just a bit of a segue to a legal challenge. But anyway, there we are.
Interesting to see if it's upheld. I suspect it won't go through.
No, and I think it looks bad from a PR point of view. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, so regardless of how you're going to spin it, you're challenging the fact that you've been told to reduce CO2. Even though you've publicly stated you want to reduce CO2. Ooh, what?
There's some strange logic there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that caught me off guard, Pete. I wasn't expecting that.
Sorry. Let's get back to the list.
Okay.
What's on the list?
We'll get back on the piece then. So we're coming on to Tesla in a moment and looking about their plan to open up supercharger network to other manufacturers. I think we all have an opinion on that. But first, Mercedes. Two stories with Mercedes, and I'm going to jump to the Vision EQXX was
Sounds
teased.
dirty.
Almost, yeah, almost. This is an EV that has been teased with a 750-mile range. That's exceptional. I mean, we've talked about this again in podcasts gone by, but not everybody's going to need a range of that much. It's going to be a huge battery pack, I'm sure, which is, of course, going to come with a huge price, unless they're going to do something radical with their cost reducing their battery pack. But I guess this is going to be some sort of range topping flagship EV within their brand, probably sporty, particularly aerodynamic, but we shouldn't expect any sort of reveal until next calendar year, so 2022. What's your take on it, Pete?
So yeah, I think something was talked about last year, right? That Mercedes wanted to build a car that could travel from Beijing to Shanghai or something, which is unsurprisingly a distance of about 750 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like it's going to be a big, sleek, stealthy EV, and you would imagine that if it can do
Grand
750 miles on paper, yeah, definitely a grand tour, then in the real world probably do over 600, which means you'd have a real world range of 1,000 kilometers. So that to me kind of feels like what they're going after. They want that magic 4-digit figure range. Which at that point, I think Mercedes can say they've won.
I mean, there is a teaser shot of the concept model. It doesn't give a lot away because of the lighting that it's sat under, but as you say, it's large, flat, wide bonnets, low, of course, no conceivable grille at all to the vehicle. Curious as to what the air intakes look like on the bonnet or the hood if you're in the States, what they might be used for. But anyway, and the badge is in a very strange location. It's kind of in the front and center, but flat, which is unusual.
Yeah, I always like thinking about the numbers behind it. So, you know, if they want to do over 600 or 700 miles, and, you know, let's say it's 120 kilowatt hour battery pack, something like that. That's kind of the number that we're seeing in these big cars like the Lucid and whatever is getting up there. Then you're talking about a car that needs to be 5 or 6 miles per kilowatt hour, which that kind of feels like it needs to be some leap in technology to deliver that, because even if it's super slippery and aerodynamic, high fours is kind of what we're seeing at the minute. So you're talking about, you know, almost another 50% improvement on that, which is a lot.
We're running out with how good these can get in terms of physics, particularly on the shape of vehicles. If you still want to fit 4 people in it, it's you're going to hit the best figure before too long, I suspect.
Yeah, and as you say, I think what is it? The EQS, I think, is about 2. Is it not 0.20 something?
That's astonishingly good for that size of car.
Yeah, so you get to the point where, you know, you've got rid of wing mirrors basically, and replaced them with cameras. You've got flush door handles. One of the big ones, actually, which always combustion engines struggle with, is obviously having some cavity and some radiators. So you can kind of do away with those, or having kind of grille shutters and whatever. But yeah, as you say, you're kind of scraping the barrel. So
mechanical grille shutters, that'll become a thing of the past.
Yeah, true. But interesting to see. But yeah, it kind of feels to me like Mercedes want to have a drop the mic moment and announce a car that's got 1,000 kilometers of range, or higher if they want to do 750 miles. But be interesting to see. And I think this done in conjunction with the guys in Northampton, right? High performance powertrains.
I can't see any reference to it in the press material I'm reading, but it wouldn't surprise me. They're probably not going to want to make too much of a song and dance about that.
What, a German car that's actually engineered in Britain?
Yes. Exactly.
No, or like the F1 team.
Or not at How many of the F1 teams are in the UK? The engineering centres? Most of them are from memory.
I think there's probably the 2 Italian ones, and what's the sister team to Red Bull called these days? Is it Toro Rosso?
I think
no,
so,
AlphaTauri.
Yes.
AlphaTauri it's called these days, isn't it?
I confess, I used to follow F1 very closely, but I got a little bit disillusioned by it in recent years. It's too commercial. It's just a business procession where they can show off their logos and their sponsorship. A lot of the drivers pay to be there, so it's not on merit or ability anymore. Although, having said that, the F1 race at Silverstone last weekend was actually all right. I did watch a bit of it.
A couple of drivers got a bit precious about it, though, didn't they?
They did, yeah. Let them
Imagine
race.
someone try to... Yeah, exactly. Imagine someone trying to overtake someone on a corner.
It means shocking behaviour, right? And that's not because I'm a particular supporter of Lewis Hamilton. I happen to be British, so does he. But at the same time, it's a sport. You're in it to win it. So let them race. The golden era was sort of Prost, Senna, and Mansell, as far as I'm concerned.
Showing your age now, Pete.
Very much so. Very much so. On other Mercedes news, though, Mercedes-Benz says it will go all-electric in 2030. That's good, Pete, isn't it?
Was that a segue?
Yes.
Is that the second of the night?
A bit of slightly ropey one, but it was a segue.
Yeah, so I think Mercedes have put something out, right, saying that what is it in the last year or the year up until June or something, 1 in 4 Mercedes-Benz sold have had a plug. So of course that sadly includes plug-in hybrids, but nonetheless it's moving in the right direction. And yeah, I think they've said that by 2030 they'll be ready to go all electric, which still sounds like they're a little bit open.
Do you want to hear their caveat?
Go on, please tell me.
The German automaker says it will only sell electric vehicles where market conditions allow. Well, that's, if ever I've heard it, rather an implication that they will still retail and sell gas-powered or diesel even after 2030 where there's a lack of demand, which is not really what we want. You don't offer it just because somebody wants it. You need to stop it so that we stop polluting ourselves.
So when you say when market...
Where market conditions allow.
So does that mean that there's somewhere that's going to stop you selling EVs then?
I can't imagine that that's the case. I wonder if they're evaluating the market either for road conditions. I don't think we can really say temperature because Norway, of all the countries in the world, is very cold and succeeds. We know that EVs manage just fine in and around the opposite end of the spectrum, say Nevada, etc. So I don't think temperature is a reason not to. I am aware of markets that have particularly large speed bumps, but
we won't talk about the thingy though, Pete.
Whoa, slow down. No, we won't go there. So, yeah. Good that they have aspirations, but I don't like the caveat.
No, they're definitely squeezing something in there, aren't they? So that just to give themselves some back pedal room. Correct. It feels like, but
they are committing 40 billion euros to electrification of their lineup, so that's good. That's commitment.
Yep.
So from 2022, Mercedes says it will offer a fully electric model in every segment. That's what we need to see, at least that there's choice to go electric in any one of its ranges. So I'm guessing you'll be looking for a G-Wagon.
I think that's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because what have they got at the minute? They've got the EQC that's been around for a while, EQA, which has just been released, kind of GLA with a battery in it. Then there's the EQB, which is a GLB with a battery in it.
Almost every other week there seems to be a new one coming out, particularly from the German brands, Audi, Mercedes. Not so much from BMW, I guess, because their cars look pig ugly. I'm sorry. I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but they do have a bit of a beaver teeth front end.
Yeah, I think BMW have lost their way a little bit, haven't they? Because
they have.
Obviously, like, they did the I program, which was, I think, in large part spearheaded by Mr. Herbert Diess.
Love an i3. Big fan.
Before he moved to Volkswagen. And yeah, they seem to have not done anything with it. And now they're going for this, power of choice mantra, which is, you can have it in petrol or diesel or hybrid or plug-in or electric, and it's up to you. But as we've discussed again in podcast past, that just means that you've got a compromised and vehicle where it's not designed for the purpose. It's designed for the compromise of trying to shoehorn different powertrains in rather than committing to one. So yeah, Mercedes on the electrification front seem to have lost their way a little bit, in my humble opinion.
Yep, fully agree. I think we have one final subject on the agenda for tonight, Pete.
Go on, what's that?
Tesla, but we're not talking about Elon Musk and his crusade to bring unrest to the cryptocurrency market. We're talking about the Supercharger network, Tesla Supercharger network. So he said something this week. Tesla founder, of course, Elon Musk, has revealed that the Supercharger network will be accessible to other manufacturers later this year. So, I mean, to coin a phrase, his timing's not always the best. He doesn't tend to keep to his timing brilliantly well. But I'm not sure if I was a Tesla owner whether I'd be too happy with this. Their proprietary network is exceptionally good, no doubt about that. And if you're paying a premium for a Tesla, I would kind of want that to remain unique to my brand so that it's not polluted with Renault Zoe's, Pete.
I mean,
need
first,
an adapter.
Yeah, so that's a big thing, right? Especially in the US. The US has still got Tesla's kind of proprietary Type 2 connector. So how folks are going to use it, I'm not quite sure. But nonetheless, I think one is, to me, and I think I said this before on previous podcasts, but it seems a bit of a ruse to head off any...
Has he not said it before?
I mean, he said it multiple times before, and as I say, I think they're trying to head off any antitrust mutterings that might be going on that we're seeing for other technology companies with their quote-unquote platforms that they're being restrictive to or they're having tight rules on. So I think part of it is, me cynically, is it's a bit of a ruse to put the regulators off, saying, well, why aren't Tesla opening it up? But yeah, one of the big reasons that people get Teslas is the fact that one of the things that's lacking at the minute, and I hate saying it, but it's kind of true, is the infrastructure is not where it really needs to be in the long term. I think it's not so bad actually in the real world today, but if other charge point operators do what Tesla have done, then there would be no worries at all. And generally speaking, if you're a Tesla owner in the market that Tesla sells vehicles, there is no problem. You can go anywhere and pretty much either charge at home, or you can go anywhere you want in that market and use their supercharger network. So yeah, especially in the US where it's a mature market, and I've seen some of the Bjorn Newland videos in Norway. Superchargers, even though they might have 12 or 24 stalls, there's queues for them.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're quite right. Is if suddenly any Tom, Dick, Harry or Susan in a Renault Zoe or ID3 or etc. rock
frankly,
up
not
expecting to
exploiting
use
the
it.
full capability of them either, as in the
True.
charge rate.
I could see Tesla customers being a little peeved, and
Yes.
Tesla's greatest success, one of the greatest success factors really is being super customer focused rather than competitor focused. So this can't be good for customer satisfaction. So I don't think they particularly need the revenue stream. So again, me cynically I think it's to head off any question mark as to why Tesla are restricting their charge network.
What they might do is just make it hideously expensive, frankly, for anybody outside of the Tesla infrastructure.
Like Ionity.
Like Ionity or Shell.
Yeah,
Which
so
is an Ionity these days, Pete.
72 pence.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think even if you have the there's different what they call like Porsche Passport or Audi something or other, even then it's still 30 something pence. But yeah, Shell is 43p I think at the minute, which is pretty pricey. So
yeah,
it's still cheaper than petrol or diesel, just. But yeah, Ionity at 70 something p is crackers.
Who still uses them? That's ridiculous.
I don't know. I think that's the whole point is to get people to sign up. But the Audi, I can't remember what it's called, Audi something or other, and it's like 100 or a couple of £100 a year. So you've got to make sure that you're using them to really get your money back. But anywho.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be happy if I was a Tesla owner, finding out that the network that pretty much I'd signed up to when I bought the car was going to potentially be hogged by non-Tesla drivers.
No, I think you're right.
How's the love affair with Zoe going?
Not bad, you know. The end is nigh, though. It'll be be a week on Monday until the ID3 arrives.
Well, we'll talk about that another time, but I think you'll be sorry to see the Leaf go. Sorry, Leaf. Zoe.
Freudian slip there, Pete. But I've enjoyed the time with the Zoe. It's just, try something new. Variety is the spice of life and all that.
It is. Yeah, but I guess that's the beauty of on-to service, isn't it?
Yep, and it wasn't a fast change. I think we spoke about it the other week. So yeah, some person should arrive and do the swap, and hopefully, if I don't curb an alloy between now and then, touch wood, everything should be fine.
Now.
Cool.
Right. I think we're there, aren't we?
Is that the list exhausted for this week?
It is, yeah. I think we're on a slight hiatus next week because I'm travelling around Bonnie, Scotland. But we'll be back
on
in
holiday.
2 weeks' time. Yes. Yeah, do you remember those?
A staycation. Is that?
Well, we're not staying at home, but we are travelling in the UK. So that's within the limits of what we're allowed to do at the moment. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be allowed abroad before too long. Anyway, I think we can leave it there, Pete.
I think so. Do you need to say the things to sign off?
Well, go on then. Over to you. You can do that. You're very good at it.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And check back on the YouTubes for all the previous episodes. And the website.
www.plugbox.co.uk.
Till next time, Pete.
Till next time. Take care. Bye now.
Cheers.